Bukayo Saka, we have like 1 million in Nigeria. We have all these players.
That is the Arsenal. That is the Arsenal fan talking now. You see, he's calling Bukayo. He don't even mention any Chelsea player.
Madueke, what's my business with those people? You know, so it's simple. This is not campaign.
About to say it sounded like a campaign. What advice will you give now to Amunike?
Yes, listen. Because Sunday, when I came to you,
because the man really wants to help Nigeria.
When I get support from government, it doesn't necessarily mean government intervention giving you money. Government.
No, President, please let's not give political correct answers. There is hardly any type of Nigerian football you're not aware of. Why does the NFF seem to fear Emmanuel Amunike? He's consistently overlooked for foreign names.
The coaches will keep being owed because every federation president now will struggle.
Oliseh, what a goal!
Imagine a nation of 200 and something million people. A nation where football is not just a sport. Football is a religion. Now imagine that same nation missing out on 2 consecutive World Cups, 2022 and 2026. My guest today is a man that some consider to be one of the best that has been at the helm of the Nigerian football. He is also a man that some feel he is also responsible for what is happening to the Nigerian football today. This is a very influential man. This is a man that is also a polarizing man. But I find this man to be one of the most interesting figures and one of the most intelligent figures I've run into in the Nigerian football circle. Now, to be precise, because I owe it to this man to tell you exactly what he does now. I will read it out to you. He is, at the moment, the deputy chairperson of the FIFA Men's National Teams Competition Committee. Yeah, you heard that right. While he previously served on the FIFA Council, the organization's highest decision-making body, from 2021 to 2025, he narrowly lost his re-election bid for that specific seat in March 2025. Hold on to your seats. Following that, he was appointed to his current strategic role in October 2025. Here are the key details of his current role. He's a deputy chairperson, FIFA's Men's National Teams Competition Committee. His responsibilities, he helps oversee all major FIFA men's tournaments, including the FIFA World Cup, the Under-20 and Under-17 World Cups, and the Olympic football tournament. He also maintains a high-level role within African football as the presidential advisor to the current CAF president, Mr. Patrice Motsepe. In December 2025, he was active in this capacity at the FIFA plenary session in Doha, where he participated in deliberations on global football policy and competition strategy. Believe me, that is important. Joining us today for a conversation that is long overdue, the former president of NFF and a FIFA Council member, Mr. Amaju Melvin Pinnick. Welcome, Amaju.
Thank you very much. I wonder if I have all these many caps that you are putting on my head. So thank you. It's such a privilege to be sitting with such an iconic figure as you, I've always admired you. Your goal against Spain, Antonio Zubizarreta, still resonates among so many Nigerians till tomorrow.
Thank you. Now, what I did was that I don't want this to be my questioning Amaju, because I love discussing with him. And we've had a love and hate relationship, but I will now just read out what some of my privileged guests were rushing. In fact, I had so many people wanted to write in questions, but I just picked 9 of them for our guest today. The first question is coming from Sani from Kano. He says, Amaju, you are the deputy chair of FIFA competitions. How do you reconcile your personal success in Zurich with the absolute heartbreak of the Super Eagles being eliminated by DR Congo in the playoffs just 2 months ago? Is it not an indictment of the foundation that you laid, that you are organizing a party for the world that your own country isn't invited to?
First, I will say to fellow Nigerians that at my level, we're again very sorry for Nigeria not going to be in US. I took responsibility in 2022 as president of NFF. Then going to your question, I'm not going to be in US Mexico or Canada celebrating Nigeria's absence, definitely I will feel it more than anyone else. But the truth is, at the time they needed my help, we came and we tried to see if we could salvage a situation, which we got to almost to the end point of it. Some of us were working on the ground, and then we did everything that we needed to do with the Nigerian Board Federation, with National Sports Commission, but unfortunately it did not come to pass.
I'm sorry to cut you short, but let's not discuss as a FIFA. Let's take away your FIFA jacket. Let's put
Nigeria.
Let's take off the FIFA jacket, take off the NFF jacket. Let's discuss man to man. Because the way I see it is that in as much as our country has not qualified for 2 World Cups consecutively, I think responsibility, like you said, you took responsibility for the one that happened in 2022. But what is really, really bothering me now is that how come that we have become a nation, even at a time when 10 nations are going to the World Cup? 10 is, because, 9.5, because Congo still have to qualify. Our country is failing to qualify. Because in all due respect, even when I was there in 2015, we saw this coming. And we spoke about it. But then again, I would like to ask you, from a friend's point of view, don't you think it was avoidable that we miss out this qualification?
You see, I didn't see it coming because there were 10 teams. In 2018, we had the toughest group ever.
True.
Ever in 2018.
With Algeria.
We had all AFCON winners. They have not lost a game in over 20 games. Mm-hmm. Cameroon were coming in as defending champions. Zambia was an AFCON champion at a point. Then Nigeria was the least considered. But guess what? We won with 2 games to spare. We didn't sleep. Now, we did that in 2022. But because of the fact that they changed the format, we had to play head-to-head, nobody gave Ghana a chance. But lo and behold, they came, and we didn't lose, we didn't win. But got knocked out based on the away goal rules.
Yeah, but we're not good enough.
But we're not,
we're not. If we're saying we didn't win, we didn't lose, we are making it look as if...
There were a lot of things that's why I said that has passed. I take responsibility. I took responsibility then, and till today, it still haunts me that Nigeria did not go for 2022 World Cup. I felt really bad. I was there working as a council member, but trust me, I wasn't myself throughout that. Because you can imagine Nigeria not even being in the US, but us having the largest educated immigrants in the US. It's not what I want to talk about. But please, Nigeria should forgive us. The truth is, I'm not going to say that if I was there, definitely if I was there, Nigeria would have qualified. So there's no basis for Nigeria not to have qualified. You can imagine when we were for Nations Cup qualified. Sierra Leone, we're beating them 4-0. They came 4-4. And I told the team, if they don't go to beat Sierra Leone, they should not come back to Nigeria. And we went there, and we got them defeated.
But Amaju, when I hear you make a speech, and also like you are trying to express now, is that I've always asked myself is that when it is our federation's president that is making declarations like, I told them this, I'm asking myself, where is the role of the manager? Because that is what the manager should be doing. The manager is supposed to be the one that should be handling this because we have divisions. But that notwithstanding, there is this interesting question that, because you are a man that I know you as a man that is, you're business savvy. And I'm not here to throw kudos at you, but at the same time also, like all human beings, you have your own faults. But this one here is that an anonymous former Super Eagles player sent in this one. And he said, you promised an NFF that was 100% self-funding. That's why I'm talking about your business savviness now. Yet in 2026, the NFF is still running for bailouts. From Keshi to Roa to Oliseh, coaches are always owed. Even now, the players are threatening to boycott the AFCON quarterfinal over bonuses. Why is owing the only consistent tradition in Nigerian football? But before you say this, in all fairness to Amaju, to anybody who's watching this, owing the coaches was already in existence before he came. But the question I'm asking myself is that, why is that a culture for us? Because you were at the helm of the affairs. Yeah. What was it that was the problem that you saw then? Because even for those of us who were players, we always ask ourselves, why are they always owing us? When you were there for the 8 years, what did you feel was responsible for this? Why is it a culture with us?
Hey, if you're hooked on these incredible stories and want more epic insights, smash that like button. Subscribe now to our podcast channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Share with your friends and join our community on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, X, and Facebook for exclusive updates and more unforgettable tales. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, to me, I'm not So when we came, we noticed that was a very serious problem. I will identify a sponsor. I will got a sponsor to be paying the coaches. And of course, the contract we signed was limited to a contract that was going to pay coaches. And trust me, when we came up, we even paid coaches up to 2007, 2008. Even about 7, 8 years before us, we paid. We ensured that we did everything humanly and materially possible to ensure the sanity and stability of coaches. You were also involved.
In 2000?
Yes, we did all those things. And we got that because the truth is, it's not about, if you look at African countries, some of the government take over the sponsorship of the payment of coaches. I mean, when we are rounding up, I'm going to talk about the systemic problem facing Nigerian football, which has become a recurring decimal of very high negative proportion. I want to talk about that. Because with everything, every federation president now will struggle because of that factor. But I mean, before we round up, so I'll come.
But
what I'm saying right now,
the question is your own savviness when you were there.
No. But when I came in, we took football from -0 sponsorships, because when we came on, Glow was leaving, Adidas had left, General Insurance had left, Guinness, they wrote us that they were leaving. So we were on even our key sponsor, Adidas, it was a battle for me to get, I use the word me, I normally use the word us. But I know I went to the US, I went to Holland, in ensuring that we got Nike. Till today, Nigeria happens to be the only country in Africa. It used to be Nigeria and South Africa that wears Nike.
No, sorry to cut you short, but you said something that's interesting now, because I will forget it as it goes on. And why were these people leaving? Because Adidas is leaving. We are 200 and something million people. Normally, business is done with numbers, and we are a nation with a lot of numbers. And I ask myself now, if Amaju is saying now that, I can call you a friend.
Yeah, you call my brother.
Even a brother, because you are a stone throw from a village which is ours. If I'm asking a friend now, how is it that these people, when you came in, that means they were leaving because of problems that were already existing before you came?
Yes.
Now, what were they leaving for? What was this problem that normally you have 200 million people that you want to stay inside because of the business? What were they?
Let me tell you why. You see, I was utterly flabbergasted when I got the letter from Adidas. A few weeks or a few months into my being NFL president, that they were leaving. I flew to Zurich to see the then FIFA president because they had a relationship with Adidas.
Yeah, it's the same.
And they called, and he helped us to speak to them. Spoke to them, and came back to me that they were very vehement about their not returning to Nigeria, and that it was something really bad. I was wondering what was bad. And I said, no, Nigeria just won the Nations Cup. We're a country of high numerical strength. How come these people are leaving? It was later I found out so many things that I cannot come out in the media to say.
Okay.
I don't like indicting people. I don't like speaking. But I went deep. But I knew they were not coming. Then I went to Nations Cup 2015 in Equatorial Guinea. I was privileged to be sitting with the former CAF president, Ayatu. And I was appealing to him to appeal to Puma. Because I was introduced to the head of Puma. The head of Puma, the moment he understood that I was a Nigerian, not even as president of NFF at that point, he didn't want to talk to me. He said, no, I'm not going to talk to them. Nigerians are, I don't want to use he used a very extreme, and I didn't like it. But I just kept my cool. The next day, he now decided he wanted to talk to me, and I told him I should sit down. Old man, he told me a story about how 3 Nigerians came to his house on a Christmas day to tell him we can jettison the contract we have with Adidas, but this is what we wanted. It was really bad. And that from then on, he made up his mind never ever to having to do with Nigeria. He blacklisted Nigeria.
But
that was when I made up my mind that Adidas gone, Puma gone, we'll definitely get the best. And that's where I went to my room and I prayed and I said, God, give us Nike. It was a tough call, but eventually we got Nike.
But one thing that I noticed, because when I was coaching Super Eagles, these are things that I've never shared because of respect to my former employers. But since we are now really, really rock bottom, we are looking for solutions for it. Was that when I was coaching the Super Eagles, what I knew was that we did not have equipment. We did not have even, there were sometimes I had to take the boys out to training, but we couldn't go on the set time because we had to wait for the clothes they use in the morning to dry up because they washed them. And those were the kind of things I was going through. And I remember even back then I was feeling like, okay, since I was building, it was shocking to me because I knew that a top nation like ours, getting sponsors wasn't the difficulty. Now, for people to keep leaving us, then you start asking yourself questions. What is wrong with us? Why people leave us? What is wrong with us? Why would people not want to sponsor a nation of 220 million people? And you are very, very business savvy, how come that you were not able to solve that between the 8 years you were there?
When I was president of NFF, no sponsors left me. I brought in sponsors. I went from 0 to almost 80%. It's not what I'm saying. You could go to our audited report prepared by PwC, no less a firm, in 2019, 2020, and see it clearly from 0 to almost 80% of self-funding.
Yeah, I understand, but
yes.
Amaju, you're deviating from the question.
But let me also say about you not having equipment.
Because what is most important here is the fact is that the question was asking you exactly is that why is it a culture that the coaches are being owed? What is it? Why are they being owed? It's a simple question.
You see, the coaches will keep being owed because there is no stable arrangement for payment of coaches. Today the government wants to pay coaches. Tomorrow the NFF wants to pay coaches. But the truth is, it will keep being like this until we have a well-structured arrangement for coaches not to be paid. If the government takes out the responsibility and include it in their budgetary provisions to say, like what they do in Ghana and so many other countries, even Morocco, say, listen, we want to pay the coaches. Put it in the budget. And know that, and take out as much as possible the bureaucratic bottlenecks in terms of implementation.
Hold on, Amadu, because let's try to make it a discussion, not that because it's not a speech we are giving, but the point I'm just trying to make out here is this: is that we are a nation. We export oil, we export intelligence. We are one of the most, when it comes to manpower and the brain flow, we are one of the nations that exports the most. In fact, the most successful businessmen that are expatriates in United States of America and Nigerians. How come is it that we cannot, a nation that is earning so much, we cannot afford to pay just a coaches? Because if you look at it like this, an average coach is earning $25,000 a month. You're talking of just $300,000 a year. $300,000 is what some players earn today a week in modern football. And for coaches to be owed that one, it kept baffling me because it was something that drove me crazy. It drove my wife crazy. It drove my assistant's wife crazy because he needed to pay mortgage. And the fact that when we coached, we were being owed, he was just bothering me every day. We couldn't take it anymore. But I put myself in the place of those that came after me. Fortunately, I think Gerhard Rohr also eventually, he left without being owed because we never heard him cry. But Keshi cried, I cried. So from you now, in just without explaining much, in just a clear statement, what do you suggest would be the solution to Nigerian coaches?
For your information, I will say clearly that coaching, we did not, God rest his soul, we did not owe Keshi. We paid him. I recall we paid A to Z of all his entitlements. I mean, the books are there. Like I told you, is it that government can be more intentional and direct about it and say, we want to pay coaches, include it in their budgetary provisions for maybe next year or next 2 years, and let it be devoid of all forms of bureaucratic bottlenecks. I don't think it's too much for the government.
The government will intervene whether you like it or not, because the infrastructures you are using does not belong to NFF anyway. It belongs to the government or the state government. So that one we know that the government's intervened. But the point I'm just looking at here is that you heard it here. For Amaju, the take is this: to self-paying coaches, the government has to pay the coaches. So that leads me now to push into this question that, very, very interestingly, a fan is asking about, says, this is a question coming from Chioma, a sports journalism student, sorry. During your tenure, you blamed a toxic environment and probes for failures. It is now 2026. You are gone from the NFF, yet the team is still embroiled in bonus roles. Was the environment truly toxic, or did you simply design a system to be opaque and actually in debt? Before Amaju answered this, like I said earlier on, the national team were always being owed before Amaju came. So it's not as if it's something that started with Amaju's tenure. But that, I'm not trying to say I'm trying to defend Amaju here. But what I need Amaju to answer now is that he said it was based on the toxic that was stopping him from doing it.
Right from the day I came on, the beginning was from week 1, they were already planned to get me off. There were already plans to get me off. Instead of me to concentrate on doing the job for the Federation, I was concentrating on survival.
I support you on that one.
Yeah.
I was aware.
Yeah, from the beginning, from day 1.
When I came in, look, this podcast is not to defend you, but let me tell you why I'm please, before you answer, let me just say where I'm aware. What I say, Amaju, is that I knew the fight that even I got personal phone calls that were trying to get me to even sabotage you. But I can't call names because they were sometimes anonymous phone calls. And I looked at it then that you are getting in touch with me to try to create chaos in a team to sabotage somebody who just gave me the job.
No, I can go on. Let me go on. 3rd week, there was a guy, a minister came, and the minister from day 1 wanted me out of the office to bring in somebody from his own place. We all remember the Giwa saga that took how many years? That thing took us 1 minute we were out of the Federation, the other minute we were in, the other minute they went to court, knowing that football don't go to court. They did everything humanly, and he told me clearly that they were going to fight us to a standstill, that I will not have my... You know, we went even up to... I don't want to go say spiritual because I'm a child of God. There was nothing we didn't say for that 8 years. Then the agencies, all sorts of false reports were taken to the agencies. You are in the office, you have a meeting with XYZ sponsor, you are being called, either you are being called or the director of marketing, the director of finance, each of them, either they are in ICPC, they are in EFCC, they are in DSS. Come on. In spite of all this, we were still able to bring our head out of the water as a bit. But I'm telling you, it was really, really bad.
I understand, but what then can we give as an excuse for this one now? Because this is 2026. This is not qualifying now.
Ibrahim is his own man. I'm not. He won an election. He won an election to be president of Nigerian Football Federation.
But many people said you put him there.
How can they say that you, one person? Because the truth is, a chunk of the Congress and members of my executive committee at that point wanted me to come back for a 3rd tenure. And the reason being that, if you're in football, like I said, if I had done a 3rd tenure, I would have corrected a lot of mistakes, and there's no way Nigeria would have qualified.
So you think it was possible to correct what you couldn't do in 8 years, in 4 years?
No, because at this point, there was a lot of relative sanity from the Minister of Minister Eno, to now Shehu Diko. Biotic, wonderful relationship between the Federation.
Okay.
I didn't have that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. If I had this kind of relationship, trust me. Because the truth is, I didn't have it. You are getting into Nigeria, they are telling you that you cannot get into Nigeria. You are traveling out, they are telling you too many things. Let's not go there. It's all captured in my...
Yeah, let's not go there.
So, but what I'm saying is, we must look at it as a systemic problem.
So, but there's this interesting question here, because this one touches me personally. This one is... The title the person wrote was just a fan of the audacity to refuse. That's my book. It's on Amazon anyway, if you want to get a look at it. In this book, Oliseh says he was let down, and his assistant was also let down. Do you take personal responsibility for losing one of Nigeria's most brilliant tactical minds because of NFF's internal politics? There is something I would like to add to this question, is that when I left Super Eagles in 2002, I felt so hurt and so badly treated that I decided that I would never do anything again with the Federation until your tenure came up. And I remember I had this discussion with you in London, and I was really, really impressed with the way you mapped out how you wanted to make the Federation. Now, in all fairness to you, that is why I still have a good relationship with you. There were things I found out when I took over that were not really your own doing. I knew what I went through when I was coaching the team. And when I spoke to Keshi before he died, he was also going through that. And some of the people who bothered Keshi, who made life horrible for him, were also still there and making life difficult for me. When I was there, you're laughing. You're laughing because, you see, what I like about it is that in as much as anybody can catch it, but you can face the truth when you say it. And I was feeling it too. And one thing that was bothering me was that our country is a highly tribalistic country. It's no secret. But this is a man that is from my place. How come he's seen what they are doing to sabotage every good thing? Because I was sanitizing the place. There was nothing. President, you asked me to do when I was coaching that I did not do. I did not have a problem with you. Nothing. But what I couldn't understand was that he is the president. How come he's not putting his head down and say, look, let these people work? Because, so that is the thing that was what really hurt me. So I'm curious to know, please, without explaining so long, how come that this problem, the border coaches, especially the local ones, how come it is not solved?
Why? They're not stamping authority on things that they needed to be done, or their payment, or which one are you talking about?
The payment one, we've already spoken about that one. Let's not like, but I mean, as regards the support.
NFF is not, or rather was not a synonym for Amaju Pinnick. There were structures, there was a technical committee, there were various committees running they all is to advise the executive committee, which I chaired, or which I headed. And we gave, and the kind of relationship I had with everybody was, I gave everybody the liberty to do whatever they like, provided it's not going to go against, let me just capture it ordinarily, national interest.
Okay.
But I was not a bad leader. So coming to your question is that I gave everybody the opportunity to express their God's-given talent in their various endeavors, from the technical committee to the marketing committee to the organizing and disciplinary committee, everybody. There are so many things that we saw as president, but then we're happy we've gone beyond that phase. Today, if I do not have anything to offer, or I do not have anything to offer Nigeria, FIFA, even after losing an election, losing an election in Nigeria, whether it's return vote, they will not recognize and give me one of the most important positions in world football today.
I understand, but that is what many are saying.
So if I don't, the president of CAF will not make me a presidential advisor.
Many are saying now that, you've had meteoric rise when it comes to the, like I said earlier in the intro, as regards moving up to the highest pinnacle in football. That we have both been there. I've been in FIFA for 13 years now, with the technical committee in and out. So we know that FIFA, when it comes to working, FIFA is always looking for the best. That is, I'm talking of my section, because when I look at the section, the way they pick and the kind of work we have to do, if your brain is not there, especially for a man coming from Africa, you will not be there. So I understand that one. But what I'm just trying to say now is that if you have been able to go this far, to have done it at the highest level, how come you were not able to do that at one level?
Sunday, why are we going back and forth?
That is driving me.
Did I have the enabling environment to thrive? No. It's the same thing we're talking about. If I had a solid foundation, if I had a very wonderful relationship with the government of the day, for 8 years, all the ministers were antagonistic. All. When Solidarity came, it started very well. We started very well. We were Baptist. All of a sudden, things started changing, started listening to people, and we changed and we drifted. But today we are best of friends, because he now observed and knew that some of the things that people were just coming there to because of their own personal interest. I didn't have that. And the country is so structured in a way that the NFF can do nothing without the ministry or the government. And that is how it is. So even if you look for all the money, you go 80% self-funding. There are some interventions we didn't make provision for. For example, going to the World Cup, it's government that will bring money. If you're expecting XYZ, it's the airport protocol, which is government. There are too many things government, you cannot do away with government. So, and they use that. I am saying I did not have the enabling environment. And it was clear as crystal, even to the blind. 1 minute, Amaju is arrested, Amaju got arrested in this place. The other minute, do you know what it means? Every time, at a point, the same way your wife called you, my wife called me. Choose between this NFF and us, your family. I know you have a lot of businesses. It's not as if you are bringing money to us. I was president, listen, I'm coming. I was president of NFF. Let me say this. I don't think I'm saying it for the first time. For 8 years, NFF did not pay my accommodation. 8 years. I want to go and do an investigation on that. I was entitled to, at that point, $80,000, which was 12 million naira. I did not take a dime for 8 years. NFF did not fly me to Abuja. I was going to Abuja every week with my aides. Go and check their records. You know, so because I went in on a sacrificial. I was driven by passion, not any material or extraneous factor.
I understand that, but that's why I want us to look at this passionate section now, is that this is coming from a big boss loyalist. When you say big boss, there's only one person in Nigeria that's known as big boss now. We're talking of Stephen Keshi. He said, you renamed the Asaba Stadium after Keshi, but many believe the friction your board gave him in his final years contributed to the decline of our 2013 golden era. If you could sit with Keshi today, what would you apologize for? Please just give us a concise answer.
There's no way I would have apologized to Keshi. Keshi, God rest his soul, he was an icon, you know. But there's no way I would have apologized to him because I don't think we did anything wrong. We had a very warm relationship until he passed. And when he passed, we were there, we were the first people that went, you know. I mean, look at Oliseh today, look at you today, you know. It's not the same thing they tell about us. But yeah, my brother, we're here, we talk all the time. There's nothing in this life, so I don't keep any. But there's no way I would have apologized to Keshi because we didn't do anything wrong. We did what we did based on reports.
I support you. I support you on that one because when there was the day I was in a crowd and you called me and we spoke a bit. You know, you returned the call or something, but you called me and then we spoke. And people were saying, you and Amaju still talk. I said, what be the fight? Because what we are reading is that what we are reading is that you are doing this, you are doing that, you are doing that. And I said to myself, I say, you don't come and tell you say that one. They say no. So where are you people getting all this this for? But let me go on to this question because this one is very interesting. It comes from Coach Shagun from Akure. He says, oh dear, I didn't even know this one was part of the link. Why does the NFF seem to fear Emmanuel Amunike? Despite his success, he is consistently overlooked for foreign names. Is there a deliberate policy to keep strong-willed ex-players from the nation away because their footballing IQ threatens the status quo?
Yeah, Amunike, like the others, I don't have anything during my period. I like him. We had a very good relationship. But we also believe that there are some local clubs that also need the attention of ex-internationals. And I believe he's the one of the local clubs now. I don't know if he's still there, you know. I don't know how well he did, how well he fared. The only one that I know that fared very well.
No, President, you know how well he fed. You know how things are going. Please, let's not give political correct answers. There is hardly any types in Nigerian football you're not aware of.
Listen, I know a coach. He went to Atland, and I don't know whether he's still there.
I think he's still there.
I don't know whether they are struggling. Toby is an excellent coach. I don't have anything against him. We look at things beyond that, and there are some things that are better left unsaid. But beyond that, because it's not what you think. You know, you look at a lot of factors. So what? At the appropriate time, I'm not going to come out to say anything. But at the appropriate time, usually in my books, there are some of these things that are going to be captured.
But what advice will you give now to Amunike?
Yes, listen. Because Sunday, when I came to you.
Because the man really wants to help Nigeria.
Listen, when I came to you, he's helping a local club. Let him concentrate there and take the club. We need Nigerian clubs to win the Champions League again. If the governor is not giving in the owners of the club, then we can rally around him and let the governors. It's not just win the national team. It's in a local. I don't use the word local. It's an indigenous club. If you look at Spartans of Owerri, today is Heartland. It's a big club. It's a club that has been there for over 40 years. So he can also help that club to win the Champions League. Starting from yesterday, he's still very young. Once that is done, it's supposed to be automatic going to the Super Eagles. So it's not just say because the Super Eagles is there for anybody to just say you want to. Now, at the point I was talking to Amunike to be part of the team. He won't coach the Super Eagles. But again, he went to Egypt, and I don't know what happened. He didn't spend long in Egypt, then he left and came back. So it's not just about, there are a lot of factors. And like I say, I don't have anything against him. If you look at him, he reads the game like the back of his palm. He's a good coach, but trust me, it goes beyond that. Now, he's managing a club. Let us see the result of that club.
No, he might be a nice guy. He might be a good guy. He has a good heart.
Even you, when there were a lot of oppositions. When I decided to, somebody come and see me in London, you came to my flat in London, and we sat and we spoke. And I called you the Pep Guardiola. Until today, I still maintain it. You know why? Because you have the persona. You have every characteristic of being one of the best coaches in the world. It's still there. You have that leadership. Even as captain of Super Eagles at the point, you have that leadership. And leadership is one of the major ingredients you need to lead people. It's not just, forget the technical competence. Technical competence can come from people around you.
If it was not you, I would never have accepted.
So I told you to come, and when you will,
it's the respect for you. It's the respect for you.
I was in Zurich when you called me to say you were not going to. I said, Sunday, don't do this. And you told me your family, and I respected that immediately. I wasn't happy, but I respected that because I believe you could do it. If there's anybody that have given our own base coaches opportunity, I don't think I gave Iguavo an opportunity. You opportunity. I did very well. Our first match was against Tanzania in Tanzania. And you drew.
You remember,
it was a good match.
Last minute, our captain said he's not coming. And I can never forget. No, okay, that is, I'm very happy you said this. Because that game, we were all shocked. We were in shock. But that game, you gave me support. That game, you come, you say, Sonny, even though, say, some people abandoned us last minute, we're there behind you. And no, that game, because that was the game I felt really support from you, my first game. And then the players felt it. That, okay, even though we were expecting our captain and he didn't come, they felt, okay, we're all there. And that's why they were even able to play, because we're just patching up the team now. We're just starting then. So that one I can agree. But this question comes from Tunde, because he's going to watch. In fact, I shouldn't ask it because you answered it. But for the sake of the man, Tunde from Lagos, he says, but historically, what I do is that to respect the people, I took away their family names. Okay. This is Tunde from Lagos. He says, you have historically preferred foreign technical hands. Is this because you believe Nigerians aren't capable, or is it because a foreign coach is easier to control and less likely to speak out against NFF's internal mess? Please, a short answer.
A foreign coach is the one that we won't speak out.
Why do you
know?
Why do you think
Oliseh was seen as a foreign coach.
Why do you think?
Yeah, you were seen as a foreign coach. They will speak out because there are some things that are not normal to them. So, but let me say something. And like I said, there are things that will be captured in my book. I'm not going to say. I don't disbelieve in Nigerian coaches. I believe in Nigerian coaches. But the truth is, and if there's anyone that has given them the opportunity, I've given them. Can you want to talk about Finidi? You want to talk about Sunday?
But Finidi was after yourself.
Yeah, even he was part of the team. All of them, Aloyagu, all of them. I gave all this opportunity. Then I gave a frontal opportunity to Iguavoin. And he did well the first 2-3 matches. Of course, the World Cup, he couldn't. Even Keshi, at a point. But there are some things that are better left unsaid. Because these guys are legends, they are icons. There are some things I cannot see on camera. I will never. There's a modicum that says information order. It's not everything you see that you say. You know, as a leader, we've gotten to that point of serious or critical stakeholders or opinion leaders. There's some things we cannot, I will not say. Even as I am speaking in this mechanism, one is global. People are still going to attack. People are still going to say this. So I also watch what I say.
But if they don't attack you, that means you're failing now.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm not bothered. I'm not scared of it.
A successful person will always be attacked.
If it's not you or even a few people, you know me, this is the first time I'm doing a podcast interview. I mean, I don't.
I'm honored.
It's between you and Chance and Azodo. Said that I want to do this with. Once people see you, they just get upset. They start thinking 2022 World Cup. They start thinking about this. Nobody will think about the good side. Nobody will tell you about how we took funding from 0 to 80%. Nobody will tell you how we won the Under-17 World Cup. Nobody will tell you how we won all the tournaments in Africa, the Under-17.
Amaju, please.
Nobody will tell you too many things.
Let me cut you short let me cut you short on that one because there's something now. This one falls into what you're about.
Tell you how we got the best jets in the World Cup.
This one is very interesting. This one you will like because it's something that also I've been telling myself in my head. It's like, this is a Nigerian diplomat. This one works with one of the embassies. And he says, you've conquered the NFF and the FIFA Council. In 10 years, it's 2036. Are you looking at the CAF presidency? Or is your ultimate target to be the first African president of FIFA? And what does that mean for a Nigerian that can't qualify for a World Cup? That I will correct. President Pinnick qualified us for 2018. So you can't say he couldn't qualify us for a World Cup. But the point here is that what I would like you to answer now is the fact that
No. Listen.
Are you looking at CAF presidency, FIFA presidency?
I'm privileged to be having these positions because FIFA and CAF identify something in me, and that is it. You know, if I locked in the peripheral role that I'm playing right now, because I'm also rebuilding my businesses. I'm into oil and gas, Greek, luxury concierge services. We are doing quite a lot of construction. There's a lot we are doing, and right now I'm concentrating in consolidating and advancing my businesses. So, but I like the role because I'm passion-driven about football. So I like the role that I'm playing. If there's an opportunity in future to say that, you know, maybe go back to the council or maybe, but I'm happy where I am right now. I'm not looking at anything. It's one step at a time. I'm not looking at being, whoever is there, there's the president of CAF is there, there's Fauzi, who is the first vice president, who has done so much for the continent of Africa. And also there are some young people, they are there, they are taking over for us. Let me tell you something today, please, if you don't mind. It's an advice to everybody. Once you get an opportunity, the moment you step into that stage, also plan your exit so that you'll not be taken by surprise. You know why? Because I prepared myself. Do you know what it means to be in the FIFA Council for 4 years? I served in the FIFA committee for 8 years before then. I served in CAF Executive Committee. I mean, it's a privilege that I consider very priceless. So you must always plan your exit. That's the truth. So if anything comes in future, I'm not going to say no or yes. But at the moment, my goal is to redevelop, advance, you know, bringing all the new technology into my various businesses. And play the role I'm given to play.
I understand. It's quite interesting what you said now. But this is the final question I'm going to throw at you. And before I even go into this final question, I'm happy that you were able to be part of this podcast, because our podcast, what we have decided to do is that we are not looking for theatrics. We are not looking for controversy. We are not looking to insult people to attract clicks. We're just trying to be as responsible as we were. But this question here, that is coming from, he calls himself a heartbroken fan. He says, and I think this is where I will give you the floor for just 2 minutes, please. He says, for just 2 minutes, I beg you, because for the time, he says, if you were given a magic wand, to fix Nigerian football today, knowing what you know from the inside of FIFA, having managed NFF for 8 years, would you sack the current board, or would you admit that the problem is so deep that even you couldn't fix it in 8 years? Let's go.
Like I keep saying, it's been a systemic problem. It's not just... So every NFF, even if Aliko Dangote runs NFF today, is going to struggle.
No, it will succeed. I'm sure it will succeed.
No. Listen, what I mean
he will clean house.
What I mean is a systemic problem. Okay, let me give you a classic illustration.
Okay.
When I took over the NFF, our monthly subvention from government was what? Was about 115 million naira, which was about what? Which was about $1 million.
Back then, no.
$1 million.
Back then.
They were earning the same thing, which was about $1.5 million. Guess what the NFF is? They are being given today, 70 million naira, which is about $200,000. That's a systemic problem. You know why? The system does not identify that. Look at the prevailing economic situation.
Can't NFF generate its own funds?
No, listen, I'm just telling you about, my focus has been private sector driven, structure. You know me, but I'm just saying. And again, what are we looking at? Also looking at the league. The league. 90% of the clubs are owned by the government. During my period, we made all contact with Yari, the governor of the head of the Governors Forum. Because we wanted the state to relinquish this ownership of the clubs to private sector.
No, I'll be unfair if we do it like this. Let's do it the way the man is asking, because it's all respect to
so
him.
It's part of this.
He's asking you if you had a magic wand. That's the interesting
part.
So how would you fix it? How would you fix it?
With all due respect, running Nigerian football, based on what I know now, first, if I have the enabling environment, Nigerian football will be like, top.
So what will you do?
If I have the enabling, first, just give me the enabling, I know what to do. It's simple, but I am not. I will say it emphatically.
But somebody will say
Please
you
know
were there.
it.
You were there for 8 years. and
No,
you did
because I didn't have the enabling environment. That is the irony. I didn't, and I've told you. I didn't have the enabling environment for 8 years. In spite of that, we still achieved a level of greatness. I beat my chest to say it. I didn't. From one minute to the other, you are getting to Nigeria today, you are being held tomorrow, you are in ICPC every day.
Okay,
Now,
let's go. The first one, you
I'm
gave the
telling
first
you,
one. The second one.
It's as simple as ABC.
Okay, the second one will be what?
Even if you allow Ibrahim today to say he should continue or he should come back as president of NFF, there are things I would have learned. It's not dumb. Of course, you do it. The second one is to restructure the league to be independent of state government. State government can only have 10 or 20% as equity based on their infrastructure.
Okay, and the third
third one is to make sure we have at least playing pitches, at least 10 to 12 playing pitches in all the states. Trust me, you'll see the result. It's not just result that will be just to develop talent, but you're taking the youth off the streets, of the creeks, and security situation will be reduced drastically.
The fourth one?
Yeah. No. If you do those three, I'm going to come, if you ask me this question, I'm going to come on what's called the facilitating and the predisposing factors.
Okay.
What are the predisposing factors? Those factors that you need that will enable the future. Why the facilitating ones? Like creating infrastructure, talent hunt, getting the right people in the right places. It's simple. And importantly, the most important element is support from government. When I mean support from government, it doesn't necessarily mean government intervention giving you money. Government should protect and project you. I give an example. If I get elected as president of NFF, the first thing I will do is to have a meeting with the president. Mr. President, please look at my plans. I want you to protect me. If I get a presidential cover, and the next thing I'll say, President, I want to have an evening with the Nigerian corporates. I come out with a program to say, look at what I want to do. In each state, this is what it will reduce crime, it will reduce, but it's going to develop. This is what I want to do. And I also want the government to throw their weight behind me in ensuring that all this, the state government relinquish this state and look at every state in Nigeria is blessed with at least one wealthy man or two. Let them take over the ownership of this club. Then come out and develop a theory whereby they can make money from the club. Real Madrid is owned by the locals. Barcelona is owned by the locals. Most of these clubs are owned by locals. Come out with a template for them to see that all these clubs, trust me, Nigerian clubs will be winning the Champions League back to back because the talent we have in Nigeria. Bukayo Saka, we have like 1 million in Nigeria. We have all these players.
That is the Arsenal. That is the Arsenal fan talking now. He's calling Bukayo. He don't even mention any Chelsea player.
Madueke, what's my business with those people? So I'm telling you, so we have that. So it's simple, but trust me, this is not campaign. I will never ever come back to Nigeria.
I was about to say.
I'm just saying it.
I was about to say it sounded like a campaign.
I want you to know it today. It is not, I don't never, ever, quote me. I'm a man of integrity.
Look, guys, I'm happy. It's been a blast spending time with Amaju. But one thing that I can say to close this edition is that, to close this episode is that life has taught me a lot of things. And life has taught me one thing, that you learn something every day. Today I've learned a lot. But one thing I also would like us to know is that in as much as we throw stones at other people for having erred, it is also good to also hear from them why they acted the way they did. Because there are always two sides to a story. Thanks for having followed this episode today. I know it's an unusual one because normally I banter with my people, but this, my brother here, that you are saying, it's good to just let him share his opinions in his mind. And I'm happy he has shared a lot with you. Please make sure that you join us for our next episode. And I know my co-host will be there next time. Okay? Take care. God bless.